Hi, welcome back to Toadstool Tarot. I'm sharing with you today a deck, a Polish deck, that I first discovered in a walkthrough on a new channel that I really like called Longman Tarot. And it was Richard at Longman Tarot that shared this deck. Now, the version that he shared is a different edition than this one because his has pink backings and white borders, and mine has very dark brown backings and black borders. But it comes from Poland. It is the, I'm going to pronounce it wrong because I don't speak Polish, Robert Lichodziejewski Robert Lichodziejewski Tarot. Don't know if you can see the spelling there. Maybe you can figure out how to pronounce that. It comes in a lovely, sturdy, two-part box. There is no there's no little white book, and the text is entirely in Polish. But if you know the Rider-Waite system, you will have no trouble with this. The cards are numbered. They are labeled in Polish. The majors are in Roman numerals. The minors are unnumbered, but they follow the Rider-Waite tradition, and so they're easily interpreted. The deck came in a little paper band, which I want to make a note of. I love this. More and more these days, decks either come shrink wrapped in plastic that goes into landfills or oceans, or they have a little plastic band. This one has a paper band, and I wish more deck creators would do this and save our planet from extra plastic in the landfills. There also was a little paper sheet in the back, which of course I can't read because it's in Polish, but you can tell from the image what it's about. The deck has gilt edges, and when you get gilt-edged decks, they often stick together, so you need to sort of sometimes bend them a little bit to crack the seal so that you don't have cards bonding or sticking together. I did that. I still had some sticking together. I've had other decks do that, and this one was easier to get the cards apart than some of the others. Some of the others' cards have been damaged doing that. And actually, in this deck, there were a few cards that were slightly damaged too because of that gilding. The black borders, a couple of spots on the edge are like white, where the ink didn't take, or the ink came off, where they were stuck together. I ended up having to use a little Sharpie to fill those in, which doesn't bother me that much, but hey, you know, I'm just not one for blingy decks, and I don't really see what all the attraction and appeal of this is. Like, ooh, and I got gold edges on my deck. Well, how much are you looking at the edges of your cards anyway? Shouldn't the focus be on the fronts and the backs? Now, I'm for deck creators, if they want to edge, and I don't edge my decks, if they want to edge decks, edge it in a color that's compatible with the color palette of your deck. I'm all for that, but I don't really understand this blingy metallic deck. It's like, initially I thought it was a kind of a fun novelty, but so many of these decks are doing this now that there's nothing unique about it anymore. It's like more routine, like a marketing ploy or something to sell decks because they have gilt edging. Okay, maybe you like gilt edging, but I'm over it. This deck has, these are the backs, which I like the backs, they're pretty. His were, where the dark is, was like pink, so predominant pink one. You can check out his channel for his walkthrough. Again, that's, oh crap, it's slipped my mind. Longman Tarot. Richard at Longman Tarot. And I urge you to subscribe and support him. Also, Christoph James just did a walkthrough of this today, so he sort of beat me to the punch. I got this deck a couple days ago, but I've been holding off. Now I feel compelled to go ahead and do my walkthrough. The cards are flexible, not thin or overly thick. They're kind of okay. I don't find a cardstock to write home about, but it's fine. They're very glossy, so that's going to present some complications probably in this video to film. They have black borders, as I said. I think they're black or very dark brown. It's the lighting in here is so crummy I can't tell. They might as well be black, they're so dark. This deck creator, the images are very interesting. They're very colorful, they're very whimsical. I might say they're sort of otherworldly. In some of them, they remind me very much of the characters in Scylla Conway's Intuitive Tarot, which are almost like interplanetary, some alien or otherworldly race or something, with elongated features, very exaggerated, and also the wardrobes in this deck are really unusual. They're all over the map, different cultures, different races, different time periods. I don't know what to make of it. Some seem contemporary and modern, some seem fantastical, some seem medieval, some seem primitive. It's odd. And also the designer, well, you can't see it here, but the designer, the artist in this, seems sort of hair obsessed or wind obsessed. A lot of the characters have hats that are exaggerated or hair that is blown, long tresses blown in the wind. So here you have the fool with sort of a modern looking jumper and collar and, boots, but sort of futuristic or something. Here we have the magician with his elongated headdress that I love. The colors are nice and bright and pop. It's a beautiful high priestess, again with an elongated headdress. And oddly, a little sickle at the bottom. So usually you see like what I always assume was a sliver of moon, but that seems to be a sickle, which almost smacks of connection to the death card. I don't know. Here's the Empress. I also wanted to say, if I didn't mention it already, there seems to be an array of different complexions in this deck. So people seeking diversity in their decks, there seems to be a hint at that in this deck. Here is the Emperor, and besides the rams on the throne, and the heavy-lidded eyes of the Emperor. You also see eyes on the back of his throne. Here's the Hierophant, again with this very elongated headdress. Deep sleeves. I really love this. A very sort of alien-looking angelic figure in the Lover's card. One of the trees on fire. The Chariot. Strength. She seems to be flossing the lion's mouth with that lemniscate that she's misplaced. Oh, it's hovering over your head. Of course, I'm being facetious. It's an interesting strength card, I think. Wonderful hermit card with a very brightly lit lantern. I don't mind the black borders on these. Now here, this is the Wheel of Fortune, and I love the way these animals are winged animals reading their books. It's kind of fun. Now here, I don't know if you can see close up, this angel has this sort of like this bubble effect coming out of the top of their head. Not sure what to make of that, but I like it. Here is Justice. So if you know your RWS, you won't have trouble with this, I don't think, do you? But if you don't, you might have trouble. You could always, I suppose, Google by the numbers on the cards, the Roman numerals. When it comes to the minors, you're going to have to just sort of count the elements on each card. Here again, we've got an interesting hairstyle on the bottom of the Hanged Man. You see? Death card with another exaggerated headdress. And it's interesting, we have much more of a prominent two towers in the background. And no hair here, but the feather here has that sort of wind-blown effect like we get in a lot of the cards. Here again is another very alien-looking angel in the Temperance card. A sort of war paint or some kind of interesting makeup on. The Devil. The majors have the labels in the bottom, the Polish labels, in gold, and each of the suits have a different color to the text. Although if you can't read Polish, you can't read that. But if you're in doubt as to which suit you're in, you can look at the colors on the bottom. But you're not going to need it. This one, I really like the star sort of orbs around that tree, and I love that phoenix in the tree. I'm not keen on the sort of 50s style blonde Barbie with a ponytail um, star character. The moon, very disgruntled looking moon. Sun card. This is maybe one of the few cards in the deck I'm not totally thrilled with. Some will see this as a very happy, jolly sun. To me, it looks very decidedly reptilian and mischievous. It looks like it might lash out with a long tongue and swallow that baby whole. It's just the impression I get from it. It seems there's something kind of, maybe it's the raised eyebrows. It's something a little mischievous about that sun. Here we have a judgment card, and I like this. There's a lot of beams coming down out of those clouds, and more than one angel judging or blowing their bugles. It's like a whole jam session in the sky there. And also a lot of people down below popping out of their coffins. Here we have the world, and the man in the top corner has a very modern hairstyle. And the gal in the center there has some wildly flowing hair. I tell you, the hairstyles in this, I think the creator was really kind of obsessed with hair, which I don't mind. It's an interesting design aspect. Okay, so here's the Ace of Wands. Oh, also, this deck didn't come in this order. I think it was like 2 through 10, and then King, Queen, Knight, Page, Ace, or something. Or Ace, King, Queen, Knight, Page. I reordered it. And these wands, they have the red labels on the bottom. I mean the red text for the fiery element. Beautiful 2 of Wands. Love the color. Oh, I forgot to show you the card size for a reference. They're a little bit bigger than the usual tarot size. I'd say, half an inch wider, half an inch taller. It seems like I'm getting a lot of decks these days that are in this larger size. Four of Wands. And here you've got more contemporary clothing, particularly on people in the background. And the male figure there looks very Norse-like, and some of them remind me a lot of the old, who was the author? Howard did a series of novels about Conan the Barbarian, or I can't remember the name. It was like a sci-fi fantasy series. These sort of muscular, long-haired, blonde, or dark-haired figures. Here, this one's is the Five of Wands. It's very dynamic. The hair in that one. Six. Interesting head covering and ear covering, and sort of, again, it's a sort of alien looking to me. Here again is another kind of barbarian depiction, like right out of a comic book or an old fantasy book cover illustration. wild hair, wind-blown hair. Like they've got the fans going. This must be in a a very windy climate. Here you even see the swirling winds behind the 8 wands. And here, I can't tell if this figure has a head bandage and an arm bandage, or if that's just part of his modern style, clothes style. I like this 10 of Wands. It seems like more of an unwieldy burden than an overwhelming one. It's manageable, but it still doesn't look that easy. Looks like it's along the shoreline too, like in the dunes at the beach or something. This one, I love the outfit. Kind of reminds me of the jumpsuit that the Riddler wore in the old Batman TV show, sort of. There's a feather in the wind, that cap. More flying feathers on the helmet in this knight. Now we're into medieval era. So I don't know how you feel about the changing clothing styles of these characters. So here we have a red-haired Queen of Wands. Here we have the King of Wands, and he's got a little lizard under next to his throne, but there's also a predominant cat element besides the lions on the backdrop. He's got a big lion medallion, and there are also lions on the throne. Now we have the Tentacles. And these are, I can't make out whether the labels are sort of yellow or sort of a beige color. I like the stylization in the hair and headdresses and wind patterns and wave patterns. Look at the curlicues in the waves. Even the toes of his shoes are curling up. The buildings in this one seem more modern to me. This kind of looks like war-torn Europe or something after World War II a little bit. And yet the figure looks alien to me again, or otherworldly, or I don't know. I'm not sure where these exaggerated headdresses come from, what inspired them. This guy looks like sort of a hippie type, with long beard and long hair. Contemporary clothing, t-shirt and jeans. And here we've got a guy in his overalls and billed ball cap. Nice 9 of Pentacles. This one confuses me a little bit. It's got a couple of chihuahuas in it, and you have somebody, and the old man in the Ten of Pentacles in sort of almost medieval garb, and then you have the people in the background in a contemporary setting, so it's almost like a window on time, connecting both worlds. And you have the pentacles arranged as usual in the Tree of Life, that Kabbalah configuration. This one's interesting, this page with this this cat with ear flaps and a bill on it. It says the headgear is bizarre in this deck, but I really like it. It's a very different take on what we're used to seeing. There's, instead of a rabbit at the bottom, our Queen of Pentacles has a, I think it might be a mink or a weasel. I think it's a mink. White mink. Or, I don't know my mammals. Here we have, this is kind of cute. It's like a bit of a bird bath in the Ace of Cups. And this is a very different Two of Cups. This almost seems like two different cultures coming together or something. Like a marriage of two different kingdoms or something. We have a perfect example of man-spreading. And this is an odd one. It's like it's a different take on the Six of Cups. It seems like it's almost like from a fairy tale or something, like Rumpelstiltskin or Snow White or something. So you have this sort of gnomish elfin figure. It's like out of all proportion to the child figure. It's interesting though, I think. Not quite sure how to read that. I think it's usually a little boy and a little girl. So the age difference, I don't know, so there's something different about it. I love the hat in this one. Some of these are a little bit dark. Modern wardrobe again. Or I should say contemporary. I love the feather in his cap. Even the fish has a fin on his head that's sort of elaborate, almost windblown. This queen has a odd little, kind of a 60s style hairdo with a little flip on it. I tell you, this deck might just be for hairdressers. Uh-oh. What happened? My screen went dark on me there for a second. Guess I'm still recording. We're over 30 minutes. I'll try to speed this up a little bit. But I think these cards are worth having a lingering look over. They're really quite stunning. Here there's a lot of highlighted, it's not picking up, highlighted rain droplets coming through the sky. And here we have a semi-transparent ghost-like figure coming in on this sleeping figure. I like the way that the legs are crossed in this figure, this reclining figure, and the hands are posed in this odd little configuration. It's almost meditative. There's another sort of barbarian figure, warrior. Here's our bandit with a bandana tied and blowing in the wind, along with the flags in the back on the top of the tents also blowing in the wind. More blowing hair. Nightmare card with, oh, you probably can't see the symbols all over the coverlet in red. All the zodiac symbols. Oh, the font on this suit is blue. Blue for air, I guess. And this is hard to read, this 10. He's wearing modern slacks and shoes with a long red flowing coat. And it's hard to make out, but he's in the woods. Here, this is a row of trees in the forest with dark foliage overhead and sort of light through the trees, in case you can't make out what's going on there. It's kind of a different positioning from the usual 10, which is along a shoreline looking out to sea. This one's looking into some dark woods, or looking out of some dark woods into a lighter area. Here again's a wild hairstyle. Love it. I forget if I mentioned that there's no little white book, but it wouldn't be of any help anyway because it's in Polish. It's almost like you can see a face on top of his head there. Let's try to bring that in close so you can make that out. Seem to be two long-haired dancing figures on that banner with butterflies around them, which goes with the air sign. So, that's it. The Robert Lichodziejewski Tarot. I found this on, I can't remember if it was eBay or Etsy. Probably eBay. Yeah, I don't think you can just, I don't think it's readily available in the US, but you can find it online if you look apart enough.